Welcome to your 2026 Implementation Blueprint Workshop. This is the place for you to be to change the trajectory of your life and your business for 2026. Let's go. Quick question for you before we get started. I want to know where your belief system lies. True or false? Is it just a simple fact that I need to work harder and post more in January? Will that make you more money? Do you believe that? I want you to take out a pen right now. Write down true or false. If you just work harder and post more in January, you're going to make more money. That's false, my friends, because activity does not equal achievement. Activity, random acts of marketing are going to stop today. This is false. We are not here to do more. We are here to do things right. I'm with you every step of the way. I want you to be honest with yourself. I'm here to back you. Do you currently have a written step-by-step roadmap for exactly how you're going to hit your revenue goal in Q1, quarter one for 2026? Most people say no to this. You're not alone if that's you. Because people get stuck in this trap of tactics. They think that iceberg's the big, shiny object for them that's attracting them, and below is this danger zone. The trap is in the danger zone. Because amateurs are looking at that shiny iceberg, they're looking for tactics. What's the next best hook on TikTok? They want to know how many times should they post on Facebook. That's a tactic. Professionals look for strategy. They want to know, who are they serving? What's my offer? That's strategy. I wonder, are you an amateur or are you a professional? Because you're not doing this for me. You're doing this for the version of you that wants to quit in February. You're doing this workshop. I want you to go to page 1 of your workbook. Look at that commitment. Amateurs are going to go through this entire workbook, this entire workshop, nod their head and go, yeah, that's nice. A professional makes a commitment with themselves by signing a contract. Professionals are you. Look at that page, sign your name at the bottom. Now you are a professional. Now we can move forward. And it's a time to take a deep breath. A few weeks ago, I traveled to the United States from my home in Mexico, celebrated a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with my family, went to check in for my flight to come back to Mexico, and ouch, my email inbox was littered with emails from the airline. This is an airline that only flies 3 times a week. They had overbooked the flight I was on but offered people to move to the Thursday flight. I'm looking, the Thursday flight's full, the Tuesday flight's full, I've lost my seat, I have to come back on Saturday. 5 days I am stuck without any work planned, without arrangements for all my automations to continue. What am I going to do? This was time for me to pause, take a step back, and put strategy in motion. Without my strategy, those 5 days were a lost cause. But because I had a strategy, everything moved forward very smoothly. I knew exactly what I needed to do and when, exactly what could be kept on my to-do list and what could be crossed off. That could be you. Pay attention. We're going through each step of my plan that I used to create revenue while I was stuck. I don't want you doing a December dash. I want you to breathe in and take on that strategic pause. Because most entrepreneurs, they're just running towards that finish line. We're going to stop. Today we stop and check the map. Where are we and where are we going? We're not here for more ideas. We're here to make decisions about who your audience is, what you're offering, and what's the message to them. I have some rules of engagement for us today. I want your camera on. It's a workshop, not a TV show. I want your workbook open, whether it be digital or whether you've printed it out in front of you. I want your mute off. Be ready to engage in the chat. This is an interactive workshop. I'm here for you. Our roadmap today, audience. We're going to audit your audience first. The who. Then we're going to make sure your offer is aligned to them. That's the what. And how. How are we telling them about your offer? That's your message. Q1, quarter one for 2026 is the when. Who, what, how, when. The 4 magical questions you're going to get answered during this workshop so that you've got a game plan to move forward. Pillar 1, your audience audit. Who are you really serving in 2026? Who are you talking with? Well, sometimes to do this, you've just got to look in that rear view mirror. The rear view mirror allows you to look at your best clients from the past year. I want you to take your pen and write down the top 3 clients you had in 2025 and the revenue you made. These 3 clients should be the top 3 revenue producing clients you had in 2025. Got that? Because the clues are in the cash. I call them my power players. If you could clone one client, wouldn't you want it to be your power player? Describe them. What common traits did they have in common? Put it in the chat. Write it down. If you could clone one client for quarter one, who would it be? Okay. Yes, it would be someone who pays you on time. It's someone who's easy to work with. It's someone that you feel really great when you're on a call with them, when your values are in sync. Now, let's get really specific here. I don't want you to write down everyone, that you enjoyed working with everyone. There's always a bad apple in there. Now, I want to tell you about Bob. Bob did the rear view mirror exercise. I'm going to have you do that in just a moment. In just a moment. When? In just a moment. Bob was happy to work with anyone that came by. And then he decided to narrow down his focus to dentists. He made $100,000 in the first quarter when he did this exercise. $100,000. If that's you, pat yourself on the heart and say, that's me. I want to make $100,000 in quarter one. I want only power players. Because once you know who your power player is, it's a lot easier to keep the bad guys out. The ones that you are tired of working with. The ones that suck up your time or your energy. Go to your workbook. Page 2. Page 2 in your workbook. If you don't have it, there's a QR code here. And you should have already had it. Because if you didn't sign your commitment. Sign your commitment, be a professional. On page 2, I want you to fill it out now. When you're listening to the recording of this, turn the recording off. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Complete your page 2. When you're done, turn the recording back on. Let's do this together. Who is your 2026 target audience? Did you come up with doctors, or did you narrow it down to a specialty like podiatrists? Did you come up with dentists, or did you come up with a specialty like orthodontists? Did you come up with pet owners, or did you get really definitive and identified cats? Not just any cat, a female calico cat owner. That's getting really defined, getting narrower. Because just like Bob, when you narrow things down and you get focused, that's when your message lands. That's like makes it easier, and that's pillar 3 that we haven't gotten to yet. Getting the audience down first. This is where pros get it right. Let's continue. We are going into your second pillar, the offer, and aligning that with your audience, because we don't want to have any friction in there. We want to have cash flow come in ready to go. We want to make it easy for people to buy from you. But first, what are you actually selling? What are they actually buying? People want the result. When I wanted that plane ticket, I want the result of getting home to Mexico. Some people buy plane tickets to go on beach vacations. They're buying the beach vacation, not the plane ticket. Your messaging and your offer should focus on the destination, the result that people want. Coaches aren't buying the vehicle. They're not buying coaching. They're buying sleeping through the night. Most of you are selling coaching. Most of you are selling a service. What result does that service provide? This is where your offer comes in, and we need to make it as frictionless as possible. I went to, yes, write down that destination. Get that pen out. This is a workshop. Get the pen out. Write down the destination. What are you selling? What is the result? What is your client paying for? What are they getting when they pay you? I'm going to tell you, I went to a laundromat. Laundromat A, walked in the door. The guy did not speak English. I don't speak Spanish really well. Enough to find the bathroom and order the right thing off the menu. That's my Spanish. He wanted all of these extra services, all these upsells. Now with our language barrier, it took quite a while to figure out what he was trying to sell me, and for me to say no, and for him to understand. And then this gal walks up to him and she says something in Spanish to him. I caught the word Friday. I looked and he said, we can't have this for you until Friday. It was Monday. I wanted to drop off my laundry and pick it up the next day. After explaining that to him, again, more friction because of the language barrier, he says, oh, well, if you want it tomorrow, we can do that. It's an extra charge. I picked up my laundry bag because I knew there was another laundromat around the corner in the next block. As I walked into laundromat B with my bag, the gal smiled. She picked up her tablet, asked me my name, weighed my laundry bag, handed me my receipt, and said, see you tomorrow. Pickup is tomorrow. Laundromat A, a lot of friction. I spent over 10 minutes in there. Laundromat B, I walked in the door and within 90 seconds was leaving with my receipt in hand and getting my result of having my laundry clean and ready for pickup the next day. There's more to this story. Stay tuned. I'll be sure to fill you in on that. The friction in that first laundromat is anything that slows down the speed of the transaction. He had upsells. He had delays. We had a language barrier. Where is the friction in your business? Where are you not creating a slippery slide for clients to give you money easily? What brick walls does your client hit trying to give you money? Blocking money, here's a few examples. You might not be aware of these, so I'm going to share them with you. A call wall. Do you force people to get on a call with you? The manual invoice. Are you delaying even getting your invoices out? Here's a hot tip. Professionals send their invoices on the first of the month. They know when the money's coming in. The client knows when the invoice is coming. Done deal. Do you have a menu overload? Ha ha! How many of you have been to that famous cheesecake factory and seen a menu the size of a book, and it took you forever to order? Does your menu look like does your website look like the menu on the right, or does your website look like the menu on the left? If it looks like the menu on the left, it's time to clean it up. I had a client named Larry. He had 5 things on his homepage. He had product A, product B, a combination of both products you could buy. He had a paid newsletter you could sign up for. He had a consultation call button. Oh my gosh. One thing. A confused mind always says no. If you offer everything, you're going to sell nothing. You're going to have 0 sales. 0. We don't want a 0 sale. We want zeros at the end of your bank account. In order to get that, you need one clear offer, one clear price, and one clear outcome. I want you to take a look at your workbook right now. We're going to jump into the pricing. This is important. On the pricing, jump into your workbook, page 3. Are you offering payment plans? Are you offering write down the price? How do people get that? Yeah. Klarna is a great option for your high-ticket items. Are you using Klarna? Is that an option for your high-ticket item? Klarna pays you, and then you get your money right away. The client has the option of a wonderful payment plan. Now let's get back to your friction audit. Look at your process. Where do the clients get stuck? What's one thing you're going to remove or fix in January? Use your pen. What's one thing you're going to remove or fix in January? Got your pricing locked in. We're going to remove friction, because that laundromat B, when I walked in the door the next day to pick up my stuff, she saw me from the back of the laundry room, came forward into the front, went immediately to the shelf with all these bags, pulled out a bag, my laundry, placed it on the counter in front of me before I could even give her the ticket. That's process. She was present and able to do what she does best, customer service, obviously, and clean clothes, because she has a system. I want you to have a system. And part of that system is risk reversal. But what is risk reversal? All right, I want everybody to take a nice deep breath in, because this is where the rubber hits the road for professionals. Professionals always have a risk reversal. This creates the safety net for people to give you cash, to give you money. 3 types. The first one is a guarantee. Love it or your money back. This is financial safety. The second type is a roadmap, telling your potential client what we're going to do on week 1, what we're going to do on week 2, what we're going to do on week 3. This is process safety. They get an idea of what it's going to feel like to work with you, and they start to imagine it in their mind as well. Give them a sample. This is another type of risk reversal. For example, try the first session for $50. Give them the experience. And of course, you can combine these. You can combine 1 and 3 quite naturally. Giving them the first session for $50. If they love it, they don't love it, they get their money back. The more you stack these safeties, the better you look as a professional, and the stronger clients will come through for you. These are your power players that we talked about earlier. Give them assurance that you know what you're doing. This is you standing on your block. This is you standing on your principles, that you are delivering the exact result that they are buying. If you don't believe in you, how are they going to believe in you? Always have a risk reversal. Why don't you go to page 3? We have the friction audit in there. We already did our pricing. So now look at your risk reversal. What are you going to add in there? What's going to make a difference for people to buy that destination from you? Give yourself 5 minutes to think about this. I want you to turn the recording off. Give yourself some time to think about this. When you're ready, you turn the recording back on, and as the professional that you are, we are going to move on to the next subject of messaging. Now you've completed your audience audit and your offer alignment. Now we're going to go into your message map. The purpose of the message map is to allow you to cut through the noise. We need to figure out, we need to agree on, are you selling vitamins or are you selling Band-Aids? Because you know what? A vitamin's a really lovely thing to have, but you know what? A Band-Aid, when you're bleeding, you need a Band-Aid now. If you have a blister on your foot, you need a Band-Aid now. Not some kind of solution that's going to remove the blister over 5 days or reduce the swelling. Bleeding neck. This is where the Band-Aid comes in. What is their bleeding neck? What is the pain that you're taking away for your client that they are willing to give you money so they no longer are bleeding? Go to page 4 in your workbook. What's the symptom you're solving and the related emotion? The symptom that requires the Band-Aid. You know, some of you are thinking, well, if I'm going to sell my organizational technique and style and sell systems to someone, that's not what they're buying. They're tired of having lost time from disorder. What is when they are frustrated because they're losing time, the emotion is frustration. What about selling a sales tool? If you're selling a sales tool, that's not the result. The result is getting them more money, getting them more zeros in their bank account. The pain that you're solving is a lack of money. What's the emotion around that? You think there's some anxiety associated with lack of money? Of course there is. So writing this down is going to give you clarity for your message map. Now, it's also going to position you as the bridge between their old way and their new way, your new way that you're going to show them. Because everything they've tried and has failed to get themselves organized or to increase sales, that's painful. That's an old way that needs to be discarded and thrown out the door. Your new way that you're going to give them results is your service. And what is your service? You might give your method an actual name, because that person that names the game owns the game. We're going to dive into this, going deep. This is what you can use for 2026 as your introduction. Because if you can't say it in one sentence, you're going to lose the room. You're going to lose who you're talking to. You have to be able to say it succinctly. Here's the formula. You're going to help your specific audience that we named to achieve the result, that's your offer, without the thing that they hate. For example, you help confused audiences to achieve the specific result without what they hate doing. Go to page 4, write it down. Take 5 minutes, turn the recording off. When you're ready, turn the recording back on. Let's do this. You've been making some fantastic decisions today. Now it's time to pull it all together in your Q1 roadmap. Q1 action roadmap is on page 5 of your workbook. You've made those decisions. Let's get them into the deadline mode. First of all, you can't hit a target you haven't already painted. Here's one more decision to make. We're going to define the target. What's going to show that you've won in quarter 1? And there's nothing like counting the money. So top of page 5 in your workbook, I want you to write down your revenue goal. I want you to write down your unit goal. Don't write down a number that is easy. Warning. Write down a number that makes you a little bit nervous. Because easy numbers don't even require a plan. It just requires that you show up. A number that makes you nervous, that's why you're here. You're planning and going to hit a large revenue goal. Now, some of you may be realizing that, oh my gosh, this revenue goal, I need 500 units. Maybe you need a different offer. Some of you are thinking, I'm going to have one client for the whole month, and that one client's going to pay me $100,000. Perfect. That's a nervous goal. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Having a revenue goal that makes you nervous. January, February, March, those calendar months are going to fly off faster than you can say, Happy New Year. Strategy is useless without the calendar. You must use the calendar. Workbook, page 5. Start filling in your primary objectives for each of those months. January, finish what needs to get done. You probably realize today that your offer might need a little tweaking. The page might need just one offer on it, might need to get redone. Whatever it is you need to finish it in January, because in February, you're going to start to use that one-liner, that message map everywhere. And you need to know where everywhere is. In March, you're going to measure what happened. Did I make it? What's working? How do I know it's working? Fill out the focus for each month on page 5. Get that done. But you know what? I wonder how much lighter you are going to feel when you stop waking up saying, what am I supposed to do today? Instead, you're going to wake up and know exactly what your mission is. The power of focus. You need to know what you're going to stop doing too. There's probably a few things you need to stop doing. Like stop making 2 offers on the same page. Like stop putting off making offers. Write down 2 things you're going to stop doing. Workbook, page 5. Now, I want you to put your pens down. Put your pen down and close your eyes for 60 seconds. I want you to fast forward to March 31st, 2026. And you're sitting at your desk. Quarter's over. You aren't tired. You aren't frantic. You're looking at your bank account. And you hit the number that you wrote on page 5. You're looking at your client list. And it's filled with those power players that you identified on page 2. I wonder when you're going to realize that the version of you, that version is already here, waiting for you to just do the work. Open your eyes. The problem is, most of us will leave a workshop. Most people leave a workshop, toss the workbook in a drawer, and don't think about it again. The solution? You need implementation. You have the workbook. Now, I pulled out of the vault 3 exclusive master classes. I pulled out an audience class for you, I pulled out an irresistible offer framework and the sales psychology masterclass that people rave about. And I pulled out that bonus group, the community that has made all the difference in the world for everybody in it. Because rising tide lifts all ships. But because you're in the room, I think you might be doing some math in your head. Yeah, if you're doing some math in your head, you've probably figured out, I'm going to do this on my own. It's going to cost me nothing. And a few months will go by, and you'll get it done, and you've also lost revenue during those months. So instead of it being zero cost, you have a negative balance. You can call me up next week and say, hey, Dr. Teresa, I want to book one of those strategy calls with you, a one-on-one with just you. I love those calls. It's going to cost you $500. Or you can grab this package I put together. I call it the Execution Bundle. Now, if you bought these separately, these classes separately, they would cost you $291. Because you're in the room, because I want you to win in Q1, I am going to gift this to you for $147. That is less than the cost of a bad dinner. And it's certainly less than the cost of running a bad offer. I wonder when you're going to realize that investing in your own clarity is the biggest return on your money that you can get. We just did a lot of work. Look at your workbook. This is your permission slip to stop playing small in Q1. Don't put it in a drawer. Now you have a choice. You could put it in the drawer, forget about everything we talked about, and wake up in January feeling just like you do now. Or you can click this button, join the Execution Bundle, and we can build this together. I wonder how much faster you'll move when you realize you don't have to figure this out alone. Click the link. I'll see you in class.